Hey there, everybody. Thanks for all the engagement. Sherman here, leaving a legacy by positive impacting people. Focusing this video on just on the recap of today. It's Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. Headed out to Appleton this morning. Had to drop the car off to just have a look at. There was a check engine light, not check engine light. It was check the suspension light on. And if you remember, about a month ago, I spun out into a ditch, and there was one of the sensors had broken. Each wheel has a sensor on it, so the driver wheel in the rear was actually really low. So the car actually suspension-wise was riding low on one side, and then so got those fixed, and then they just needed to get calibrated today. So took that in. I got some really good service from Joe and John there at Bergstrom Hyundai. And so give them a shout out on Instagram today, wanting to do that through some different businesses locally in town, and just recognize them for their social game, and then of course get myself on their radar. And then after that, had a meeting with a wholesaler from our office, talking about life insurance and leveraging some relationships with our business owners, and looking at business succession and acquisition and expansion, and really putting ourselves in a power of position for helping the business owner be in a power of position to move forward, to really drive the success and be in a posturing of strength versus cowering in weakness on the way out, and identifying basically who is the buyer, what is the value of that business, and ultimately how is this thing going to be financed, and then of course then the timeline of when this entire business exiting planning is going to happen. Definitely some huge opportunity in that space. Also, I find a huge opportunity in basically becoming a DJ and curating information. Right now, there's a proliferation of information that exists out there on the internet. Basically, whatever you want from a how-to or from a question perspective, you can find. And so what that does is it creates. Sorry, I'm trying to just hold this with the other hand. Should have got the selfie stick. What happens is when you're DJing information, you're curating information, you're trying to bring forth what you think makes sense to the people that you're sitting across from. That's going to be of most value to them. And if they trust you and they appreciate your advice, then they're going to listen, and then they're going to do. And so that's what you're ultimately trying to do. So what I'd say, what I'm going to be focusing on is reaching out to businesses, partnering up, and providing financial wellness, business education when it comes to startup, growth, expansion, acquisition, and then succession. And then I reached out actually to a commercial lender and see if he wanted to be able to do that from his banks, and be able to have hold ourselves out as the go-to place in our small community for free advice. And again, when the advice and the value comes at no cost, then they're going to see you. The perceived is that you're accessible and you can provide that continual value to them. Not imagine it like you're willing to give it out for free. Imagine how you're going to be then in delivering on those on specific strategies that make sense for the business owner. And then after that, went and picked up the car over the lunch hour, and then had a phone call with an advisor, as I gave him somebody that had some questions about sourcing yesterday. And then I reached out to him and told him that that's what I would encourage him to do, is to look at some bank opportunities or some accounting opportunities where you're providing value, you're giving education, and really using that as leverage going forward. And he really liked that idea, and is going to run on it. Actually, he had already established a relationship with an accountant, and so hopefully that'll continue to be beneficial for him. Since the accountant mainly focuses on individual planning, I said you should probably try to find one that's working with business owners, running payroll, so that way you can provide even more value to that accountant going forward. And I'd look at ma and pa, like one-off CPAs running their own practice of tax returns versus somebody that's working for a big company, because oftentimes the big companies are competitors to us. They have a wealth management or a trust division that tries to basically do what we do on the succession planning or business planning. Then on the drive home, I had a great conversation with my sister, and those are good times to be able to just check in, see how she's doing, and then of course share what's going on in your world. And then I did a couple live sessions. Those are fun to be able to do, and connecting with people, and got some really good feedback. One person said he looks at me like a father figure, and that was just super thoughtful. I never even thought about that, that I could be of that age to somebody out there. But that was just the compliment, and definitely very humbled by that, and amazingly, I'm just amazed and definitely surprised by the connections that I'm making with people online, and the deep meaningful comments and engagement that I'm having with people. It's very humbling, and I look forward to continuing to engage with people on a very personal and intimate level. And that's it. Sherman out.